I received a very good question from one of our very regular viewers, and this is such a good question. I wanted to address it because this is something I wanted to talk about for a while, and this deserves like a separate video. So basically, she is asking if nail enhancements or so gel, acrylic, all these things damage the nails or not. And I'm going to answer this question. By the way, I've been a nail technician for over 25 years, and I used to specialize in acrylics, gels, gel polishes, but now mostly I do natural nails and I do pedicures. So I do have a lot of experience with gel, and I'll tell you why I stopped doing gel for the most part. So she asks, when someone breaks their nail, can they extend it with a form, doing it properly by going back close to the PNF, so close to the skin, some people would say cuticle, use builder gel or some kind of gel or acrylic and not have some kind of surface or worse damage done to their nail? I've repeatedly heard that nails won't be damaged if enhancements are applied and removed correctly and the person doesn't do anything that causes harm to the nails, catching it on something that causes upward pulling, for example. Okay, so first of all, we have to, I guess, look at the word damage, because I think sometimes people see it as like a black and white. So the nail is either perfect or it's damaged, but there are degrees of damage. So basically damage, the way I see it, is affecting something negatively. So it doesn't really mean that the nails are going to be trashed completely or they're going to be falling off your fingers and breaking and complete disaster. So the question basically is the gel affecting the nails negatively? And as a nail technician, I would honestly say absolutely yes. Because first of all, in order to apply that gel, you need to remove the shine from the nails, which usually includes treating the nail with at least 180 grit. So this is, some people say 240, but usually you see people use like a medium sanding band or 180 grit file. And nowadays, lately, I've been seeing actually people being advised, nail technicians being advised to use 100 grit file. So the lower the number, the coarser the file is. Okay, so 180 grit is going to be a softer file compared to 100 grit. And the reason why they have to use the 100 grit, because a lot of the products now are formulated without HEMA, and HEMA is the very strong bonding ingredient. Unfortunately, it's a very allergenic ingredient. But in order for the product to bond to the natural nail, it needs to have the shine removed, and really it needs to have more texture. That already causes damage because this is affecting the nail negatively. So people will say, well, yes, but the shine has to be removed, or the nail has to be etched really only once, because if you are filling the nails, so basically if you're leaving the existing product and you're just adding, you're just doing that once. But in reality, that very rarely happens. Yes, for some people it can happen when they're very good with their nails and the nails hold the product very well, but not everybody is so lucky. And from my experience, I can tell you that this is actually one of the reasons why I stopped doing gels, is because people were very hard on their nails, and that's the reason why they got the gels. And they were constantly breaking their nails, and it was not something that obviously they kind of did on purpose. It's just they just knew that I would fix it. And eventually so in order to put new product on, again, you have to use a file. So you're reducing that nail and you're losing layers by doing so. And then you're putting the bonders on a nail that's thinner and thinner, which can cause allergic reaction risk as well. So in the ideal world, when the enhancement is applied properly, which I see a lot of majority of work, people going just crazy with the files. So in ideal world, if it's applied properly, okay, it will cause a little bit of damage. When it's removed correctly, okay, very often I see people removing it with a floss. Have you seen it? I don't know. It's a torture. And if the person doesn't do anything that causes harm to the nails, well, people do. Because normally, and I feel that enhancements are a great idea. They can be absolutely beautiful. You can adjust shape of the nails with gel or with acrylic. You can fix nails with these products. If the person has a ridgy nails, you can really cover the ridges. you can do beautiful stuff and it looks super nice and shiny for sure. But usually people get enhancements, like I said, for the wrong reasons, because they are hard on their nails. So now I see that a lot where, people will ask these questions. Well, which product is stronger, gel or acrylic? And then the nail tech would say, well, the gel is more flexible, so it's going to be, better if you are, hard on nails. Or they would say acrylic, blah, blah, whatever their decision is. And then they do the service, and then the client is hard on their nails, as they just told you. And then the nail technician says, well, you should treat your nails as jewels, not as tools. That's this kind of a line that's very famous. Well, but you told them that the product is more resistant to damage, right? So people get usually these things for the wrong reason. Because if someone came to me and they said, Anna, I want this beautiful, shiny coating on my nails, and I love to baby my nails. I don't do anything that would harm, that would, I don't pick with my nails. Um, I don't chew my nails or anything like that. I don't, pick the product off. I will come on a regular basis. Then, okay, maybe this would be a good idea. But in reality, that doesn't happen often, because if the gel, I find, because I used to wear gel too, if the gel is, let's say, 50% stronger than your nails, usually people just get used to the fact that their nails just simply don't break, and they don't feel through the gel. Like I'm telling you that when you are wearing gel or acrylic, the nails just feel different. You don't feel through them as much. And that tends to make you kind of forget about how much force you're putting on your nails, right? So what happens when you are putting a lot of pressure on your nails, when you're doing a lot with your hands, right? So three things can really happen. One is that the product will just pop off the nail. But in order to prevent it, obviously we treat the nail with the file. We would put these primers, bonders, so the product is really stuck. So you hit the nail, and what's going to happen? Usually what happens is the product is bonded to the nail, but the nail layers themselves might not have proper bond. The bond might be weaker between the nail layers than the nail and the enhancement, right? Or the last layer. So what happens is you get almost like a white spots, like little areas that the product has lifted the nail cells. Another thing that can happen is what's called pocket lifting. So basically, but that's can be due to other reasons. But usually what happens is the product, there's like a circle of product that's loose, usually in the middle of the nail from the natural nail. That usually could be caused by a ratio, so acrylic to monomer ratio being too wet, or the gel being applied too thick. But in order then to fix this, you have to take the product down and you have to again prep the nail and then reapply the product. So that idea of that you only are applying product on a brand new nail always is it's a bit of a impossible thing, because also let's not forget the product ages. So when the product is freshly applied for a couple, usually for a couple manicures, the product looks really good. It's properly bonded if you take care of your nails, obviously, and it just looks good. And then over time, that product is growing out of your nails. It's almost like when you get your hair colored. Eventually, you have to start. So you put color all over your hair, and then you just do your roots. But eventually the color, it needs to be touched up on the ends, because it's not going to last. And it's a similar thing with the nails. So the product is not going to, it's going to starts pulling off or start being loose from the nail at the end. What do we have to do? We have to then remove the product, again treat it with the file, and reapply the product. And again, when client breaks their nails, which happens sometimes, quite often with some people, because they usually go, let's say, 4 weeks between appointments, so the nails grow out way too long for their lifestyle and they end up breaking nails. So in reality, I don't see a lot of perfect nails after any gel, acrylic, or anything is removed. And it's not all doom and gloom, okay? So for some people, so again, I said there are degree of damage. For some people, that little bit of damage, so basically treating the nail with a 100 grit file and then just babying the nails and treating them well, it might be worth the having enhancements, right? So it's almost like asking a hairdresser, will a hair color damage my hair? And the truth is, yeah, to a degree, because in order for the hair color to penetrate the hair shaft, you need to open up the cuticle, and you have to, which has to be done chemically, and you have to use peroxide and usually ammonia or whatever in order for the color to penetrate. But you can't just open and close the cuticle. It doesn't work that way. So basically the hair gets more porous. Is it damaged? Well, yeah, it is a little bit damaged. But then obviously use proper conditioners. You try not to brush your hair when it's wet, or you try to be very gentle with your hair when it's wet. You try not to maybe heat style your hair as much, and it's going to be good. I mean, we all, well, not everyone, but a lot of people color their hair and they are okay with some sort of damage because it's just worth it to them, right? Same thing with enhancements. But for example, imagine this. So this is the reason why I would not recommend having my mom extend the nail, because it's almost like in her case, the nail was missing like 2 millimeters, and I knew in 2 weeks she's going to have a perfect length. So for her, it just wasn't worth to be applying the product over the whole nail, and then it would take like 6 months or 5 months for the damaged part to grow out, and that part is going to be always a little bit weaker. So it's almost like, imagine this: you have beautiful blonde hair, and you know what, you're going to a party and you just want to be a brunette, okay? So are you going to color your hair black, okay, or like dark brown, whatever? Well, if you want to color your hair all the time, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Like, obviously, you can make that decision. But having it done just from one time, it just doesn't make it. I don't think it's a good decision personally. I wouldn't do it, because in order then to remove it, like in case of my mom, then I would have to damage the hair even more in order to remove the color. It's just not worth to have enhancements for a month or two. So in my opinion, enhancement, just like with the hair color, it's something that you want to do like for a longer period of time. Otherwise the damage is just not worth it. And especially the removal too, it could be more damaging. And that goes with the nail enhancements as well. For example, hard gel has to be filed off. It cannot be soaked off. Soaking off, of course, it can be drying as well. Acrylic, so liquid and powder system, has to be removed by first filing, I would say 80% of it, and then soaking the rest off. And sometimes even when you remove the product correctly, as I mentioned earlier, I see that quite a bit, that the nail is damaged just from pulling from the product pulling on the nail constantly, right? So sometimes the damage does not only come from the removal, but the actual wear as well. So anyway, is it worth it? Well, it depends what kind of damage we are okay with. So for example, I'm okay with coloring my hair darker, because that does not include, using a very high peroxide. In my case, for example, I use 10 volume, whatever. It's actually even less now. And it doesn't really damage my hair that much. But then I have to make sure that I'm using soft water, that I'm using conditioners and Olaplex, whatever. But is it worth for me to bleach my hair? No, for me, I don't think it's a good idea, but for some people it is. But then they have to be that much more gentle with their hair. Again, with the nails is the opposite. People get stronger product, so they think that they can abuse their nails a little bit more. So going back to the question, is it possible for some people not to have their natural nails damaged at all by gel or acrylics? So I would say no, because again, you have to treat that nail with a 100 grit file, which that in itself, or even if you use 180, yes, you are affecting the nail surface in a negative way, so it is damaging. You say in this video that if you use builder gel to make the broken nail look like others, it would damage the nail. Yes, because it would affect the other parts of the nail negatively. Is it because your mom's nails do get damaged from the gel and you obviously know your mom's nails, or because gel and acrylic enhancements damage all nails? So in brief, I'm asking if it's possible for some people to wear enhancements and not experience any damage to their natural nails. And no, I don't think so. And I think that's like asking a hairdresser to promise them that they can color their hair and then still have virgin hair. It's not possible. I don't know why this is so different when it comes to hair and nails, that hairdressers will tell you, if you ask them, well, is the color going to damage my hair? We usually say, well, yeah, a little bit, but usually it shouldn't be an excessive damage. And it's the same thing really with nails. So I would answer yes, it does damage the nails a little bit, but then it depends how we are going to apply the product, how you're going to wear it, and how we're going to remove. So again, it's not so black and white. It's not that the product does not damage the nails or completely destroys the nails. It should not be destroying the nails. There's something that's very, very wrong if the nails are, unfortunately, the way I see them quite often. Guys, I get emails for advice almost every single day with horribly, painfully overfiled nails, and people say, yeah, I usually went, to the salon, and they just basically, instead of taking their time with the removal, they just took the file into my nails electric file and just completely filed everything off. The nails are pink. Basically, I would say 85% of the nail is gone. It shouldn't be like this. This is not okay, definitely. But can we have absolutely no damage to the nail, have like virgin nails? No, I don't think so. But then again, it just depends how much damage, how okay you are with what kind of damage. So I hope that makes sense, and please let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.